Okay, today's fun project, replacing the gear knob on an R129, should be pretty basically similar for W124's older Mercedes, before the 722.6 transmission that had the one-piece gear knob and gear shaft. These knobs aren't removable. You can slice them off if you want, and then drill it or tap the shaft and put a new knob on. But I was at the wrecking yard and last year, and I got this. It was all destroyed. It was all it was all faded and rotted and cracked and stuff. So I restored this and put about 20 coats of lacquer on it. So I'm going to use this sucker. And unfortunately, mine is covered in human slime. And for the last, this is nothing but, if you look at this closely, that's nothing but human palm grease, oddly enough. And I've been trying for a year to get this off. It's been like this since I got it. I can't get it off. I don't know what the former owner had on their hands, what they used. I have no idea. Maybe they were a swamp monster. No idea. I can't get it off with anything. So I'm going to recover this one in leather. That's going to be another video. I'm going to redo this. But for the meantime, I'm putting the wooden one on. So anyway, first thing you want to do is turn your ignition on, put the car in neutral, and then turn the car off, put the parking brake on. And then you're going to pop up, I've already removed the climate control unit because that's going to have to come out in order to get the center console out. Mine, I've got the knee bolster out because I'm still working on a climate control blah 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 thingy, so you can just reach behind and push it out from behind. If you have no other way to remove it, that's going to be the way you're going to have to push it out. That's the way I put it out. Push it out anyway. But stereo faceplate, the stereo doesn't really have to come out depending on what stereo you have. If it comes out easy enough, pull it out. Might as well. Mine doesn't have to come out in order to do this because it's going to come out with the whole console. Take a wooden tongue depressor or a piece of plastic and a plastic wedge and gently pop up the trim piece around the shifter. Open the center, glove box, whatever you want to call it, change compartment. And on the sides here, this covering, this pops out. Yeah, it's a bit of a bitch to do. But it pops over. It's meant to bend that way on both sides. And then you can just pull up on it and wedge under, which I'm not going to be able to do with one hand. Wedge under and pull this whole thing out. And there's possibly, probably a screw, a single Phillips screw in the center right here. One Phillips screw. Mine didn't have it in. The hole is here for it, but it's more than likely going to be in there. So one Phillips screw there, and then you're just going to pop this out front first, gently pry it out with, again, the plastic piece of plastic or a tongue depressor, plastic trim removal tool. And it's not hard to do, but it is hard to do with one hand. So anyway, I'm going to pop this out for next. It comes out front first. After you take this little screw out, reach underneath and then just wedge it up and then pull it straight out, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, actually lifting up on the back of the trim panel, because it just clips into place. If you gently lift up the back, you'll pop the clips on it, and it was easier to get under here and get this. Make sure to fold both sides over, and then you can slide this out. And I've already done this, you don't have to watch me doing it. There's two Phillips screws. You can see the hole right here at the end, and there's another one at the side here. Backwards, there. So those two Phillips screws in there, that's the center one that would have been on top of the carpeted center console. I'm wondering, I find this under here, I think this would have been probably for a light inside the little glove box here, but I'm not 100% sure. This was just kind of hanging there, so I'm going to find out what that is. Anyway, once that's done, lift up on the back of the console. Like I said, if your stereo is not going to allow you to move it out, you'll be able to tell. Mine's going to allow me to wiggle this out because you're just going to have to pull down gently. You're going to pull down and then slide out the whole thing. It's going to pop right out. So I'm going to try and set this up so you can watch it. I think you can see there. Can you? Yeah. Okay. So actually I may have to put that down into first gear in order to slide my shifter past it. And I can unhook all these switches on the bottom, the switches on your center console, the window and mirror switches. Unplug those, and we're gonna lift this whole thing out. I'm gonna, like I said, mine's coming out with the deck because I can't find the keys to remove my deck. Honestly, I can't find the damn keys. It's an aftermarket deck. I can't find them, and so anyway, piece of bad damn thing staying in there while I move this out, and I'm not happy about it, but that's why I have to do it. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, did find my keys. Pulled the radio out. Wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary to pull the stereo out. I could slip mine out past it, but it was easier with it out, so I got it out. Now I just wanted to show you something. I've seen people on the internet that are complete morons who think this is not wood, this is plastic. So I'm going to show you from the back. Here's your plastic. This is not plastic. This is wood. There's plastic backings on it. There's plastic backings for the switches and stuff, but this is real wood. So, you know, the people who want to sit there and say that this is plastic, cheap, crappy plastic that Mercedes used in here, it's not. This is real wood. So, anyway, and there's where the extra switches would go, and you can see the grain in there in the back of it, not just the front and the back. So, anyway, let's put that sucker aside. So now the shifter, crap, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, sorry about cutting you off like that. Parcel delivery came. UPS van in the back. Anyway, there's 3 clips that hold this on. There's one here. If you reach under with your finger and pull it toward you, I don't know if you can even tell, but I'm pulling it toward me and pushing up. There's one under, let me show you here, under the back, and it's a bit of a bitch to get your finger. You got to get around, hook your finger in and push it up, and it's right under here. You can see it looks exactly the same as this, but it's on the back here. And you're going to reach under and do the same damn thing, which I'm not going to be able to do with one hand. I'm going to have to, or am I? It's a prick. Anyway, and then there's one third one on the front. Now with the same plastic tongue depressor or wooden tongue depressor or plastic trim removal tool, slide it in here, and you're going to wedge forward and pull up at the same time. And that's going to pop off. But this isn't going to come off until I get this third little clip in the back here, and I don't think I can do that while I'm holding the camera. It's a bit of a mother, and I've got small hands. It's a bit of a bitch. So I'm gonna pop that out and show you in 2 seconds. Okay, so now the front's popped out and the back's popped out, and you'll rotate it back. You're gonna have to be able to move the shifter around a little bit. Rotate this back, and move the shifter around a little bit so you can get this thing loose and pulled back and away. We don't need to take the whole thing off. And now we can get to, see the nut down there? I think that's a 14 mil. Let me find out. I've got a 14 with me. Let me just stick that on there. And see, it is not a 14. So I will find out what size that is and be back in 1 second. Okay, there's a 15 mil on this one, and this position is what I found was the easiest to unlock that bolt. Just be careful, put it in whatever position is easiest for you, move it back and forth, whatever, until you can unlock that nut with a 15 millimeter wrench. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not really a big deal. So once you get it loose, you can just unscrew it. So, la 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 la. Okay. Pop it up, and you're going to see the bolt here, and you will unscrew the locking nut from the shaft, slide it out, and now we're going to compare the old to the new and see. Yeah, great, this one's going to be a little bit longer. I'm recovering this one anyway, but this one will do for now. I'll just thread it further, as far down as I can. And I'm assuming this metal shaft is probably going to be a little bent because this was in a wrecking yard car and I guarantee some knob tried to, wiggle this off and tried to break it or steal it or whatever at some point. So I'm guaranteeing the shaft's a little bit bent in some way. So I'm going to take this locking nut off, put it back through the shift pattern, blah 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 thingy, shift gate, and put the nut back on, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so new shifter through the gate, bolt put back on the shaft, and now your top of your shifter shaft's going to have moved over, sprung over. Not a big deal, just kind of, yeah, bitch. That's probably going to happen anyway. Just, be careful. You know where those parts go. They just there's just a little plastic cover piece. There's the printed shift indicator underneath, and they just kind of sit on there. So they have the possibility of popping up and down on you. And actually, you can take these off until the whole process is done. Might be a little easier, except for this bottom clip is a bit of a bitch, and you don't want to break it. So, anyway, where am I again? So same as last time, I'm just going to wind this shifter on. This is going to be a long, this is going to be long. This is going to look like a 57 frickin' Chevy shifter. It's going to be long as hell. Oh well, whatever. It'll do till I've recovered the other one. Things I put myself through. Anyway, so I'm going to tighten that on until it's, facing forward. I'll pop this back, the shift gate back into place, so I can make sure this moves properly. And then, as long as it's moving properly, I'll go in and tighten the lock nut down. And basically that's it, and you're going to put everything back together. It's half an hour job maybe. Okay, one more thing putting this back together. Put the back in first, clip the back in first, and then just gently pop the front two in. And anyway, that's back on. Oddly enough, this wasn't bent, but okay, so I've got it basically adjusted now, and I'm going to have to pop this little thingy off again and tighten the locking nut under there. Not a big deal. I knew I was going to have to do that. But, oop. Oh, sorry. Locked. Okay. So that's basically it. So if another thing you can do is if you want to tighten it up, it may or may not work, so I won't even bother telling you, because the nut could just slip. I was going to say you can turn it a little bit further to the left and then tighten it by hand, but it might not get to where you want. So you're going to have to get it to where you want, make sure it moves through the gate properly, and then tighten the 15 mil lock nut underneath. Shouldn't have clipped this back on, didn't really need to, but I wanted to show you it done and everything. So anyway, this is what it's going to look like for now. I don't really like it. It's kind of a huge woody knob. Don't like it much. But anyway, another video coming soon to recover that. Anyway, thanks for watching.